after it was Matt the Cat, and then I would come on. Boy, those were the days here. What a great time. But Phil Collins, of course, one of the greats, and 73 years old today. I don't think he can actively play the drums anymore. He did that cash grab farewell tour with Genesis, but love Phil Collins. So I'm way back in the day. I got more money here. Another chance for you to win $1,000 in about 7 or 8 minutes. Jeremy Manieri. I could be slaughtering the name, but he's in Parma. He was one of our winners yesterday. So if you know him, he'd be like, hey, man, unless he wanted to keep it quiet, in which case don't pay attention to anything I just said. But somebody's got to win, and why not you? So the next one here in a couple of minutes, and then 4:30 and 5:30 will be the last two today till tomorrow morning. The Cavs last night did pretty well. Beat the Clippers, who are a good team. Beat the Clippers by 10, 118-108. They'll take tonight off. And then they'll be back at home tomorrow night, still at the Romo Fijo. They will play the Pistons of Detroit, Rock City, who are not a good basketball team. But anything can happen. So Darius Garland is going to be back against the Pistons.
Nice.
He had a fractured jaw.
Yeah.
Darius Garland, who I think just turned 22 or something, but he's been out since...
I think he's 24.
Is he?
Yeah, maybe 23.
I mean,
think 22.
He stopped playing when we left for Christmas break.
Mm-hmm.
So Evan Mobley and Darius Garland back. So we'll see what that looks like. But he will be back.
Yeah, he's 24.
Tomorrow night against the Detroit Pistons.
He was born in the year 2000.
God.
You know, a few years ago.
Yeah.
24 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, God. Well, good for him. Speaking of cats, there is an animal shelter in New Jersey. You know, all these places have to do all kinds of wild and wacky things for Valentine's Day because it's a crowded field. So restaurants have to get creative.
Valentine's Day.
I'm sorry, Valentine's Day.
Get it right.
So there's an animal shelter in New Jersey, in Gloucester Township. I don't know how far that is from Mary, but they're offering a neuter your ex for Valentine's Day, where they will neuter a cat and then you name it after your ex. Boy, they're really throwing their shoulders out with this stretch.
But you don't keep that cat. Why would you want a cat named after your ex?
Are they naming the cat or are they naming the neutering?
No. The symbolism is you get to neuter your ex.
I get that.
Your ex's name, they give it to the cat, they neuter the cat. That's how they raise money, I guess. You know, they're not breeding anymore and makes people feel better. I don't know. Like I said, they've really got to stretch to get creative. You know, because a lot of zoos will be like, oh, we'll name a cockroach after your ex or whatever. Neuter your ex for Valentine's Day. This is the Homeward Bound Pet Adoption Center, or HubPack, in New Jersey there. $50 they're promoting on their Instagram. So you give them the money, you find a cat, you give them your ex's name, and then they spay or neuter that cat before being released back to their colony.
Okay.
They're trying to break the feral cat population.
But here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
You're the only one who knows, unless you're sending a picture of that certificate to your ex.
It's all stupid. Yeah.
And then you look crazy.
And they're like, well, you are a cat owner.
Hey.
So it's redundant. But they go, yeah, I'm married now, so I'm sorry if you can't get over it.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, you do. You look like a mental patient.
Dude.
They said more than 600 cats were fixed and released in this program last Valentine's Day.
They release them back where?
Well, they're trying to into the feral
Streets?
cat population,
I guess.
but they can't breed anymore.
Can't breed, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess in that sense, they're doing what they want to be doing, cutting down the feral cat population. I wonder if they could do this with the feral hog population for Valentine's Day.
Do this with humans.
30 to 50?
30 to 50 feral hogs. You get the feral hog. You more cumbersome than a cat, obviously, but you get this feral hog, you spay it, unless those are endangered.
Now, let's go down this road where we sterilize humans.
Yeah, I like that.
How could that go wrong?
It couldn't.
Well, again, historically speaking, it's never really been, it's something that's frowned upon, I think, to...
Mass sterilizations?
Yeah.
They're trying to do it all over the place.
Because how do you decide? I mean, how do you come to the
IQ
conclusion of IQ test?
You don't pass an IQ test, you don't get to have kids.
But, some people, it's the standardized tests, IQ tests, historically unreliable.
Verbal IQ test.
A verbal IQ test.
I
What do they have to know verbally?
What if they're nonverbal, but they're very smart?
How are they going to communicate to their kid?
Christopher
Eraser.
Hawking.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, I don't want anybody to say anything.
Is Stephen Hawking.
Who'd you confuse him with?
I don't know.
Who did you think of?
Christopher. I don't know.
Another guy in a
Pike
wheelchair.
from Star
maybe?
Trek? Another guy in a wheelchair. Who's a Chris in a wheelchair?
I don't know. I don't know why Chris came to me, but Stephen Hawking, not Christopher Hawking. Is he?
No, he might have a brother. I don't know that.
Is Christopher Hawking like a director in Hollywood or something?
Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Reeves is in
Christopher
he
Reeve
used to be
was,
Superman?
he was. There's a documentary on him that's going to be streaming soon.
But Stephen Hawking was non-verbal. What disease did he have that made him?
I think he had ALS, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want him to not breed, Mary?
I don't know.
Did he?
He did. I think
Well,
he
you
had
can't.
kids.
Does he?
No, he
Yeah,
had kids.
I think
he had
did,
kids
yeah.
before he was paralyzed?
No, he was paralyzed very, very young.
So then how do you have kids?
the sperm is.
It still
sperm
works.
is
You
not-
put it in.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Didn't
It
you
still
watch
works.
that
he has 3 kids.
TikTok or something, or the video that says my vagina's not handicapped? Like it's the same thing with men.
I didn't
Your
know.
penis ain't handicapped.
I didn't know if it was like because it's nerve damage or whatever, if that kills all the sperm cell. I don't
Still
know.
works.
So they go in through his balls and extract it?
I mean, I don't know what the process is,
Someone
but I
could,
know that
have a seat or something, and it'd be just fine.
It can't move. If
He
it-
could. He was kind of pervy.
he had kids.
But okay. But you can't, unless you can take a pill and still get an erection, if you're paralyzed, there's no nerve.
So what I can't walk, my vagina ain't handicapped.
God.
Vagina ain't handicapped. Vagina ain't handicapped.
My vagina ain't handicapped.
Nicki Minaj, another banger.
You got to hiss then diss. I mean, the dude was married twice, and he had 3 kids. So something was working.
I wonder did he have to pay like alimony?
I mean, I can't imagine the guy was. I mean, he did have some books, but I doubt that's a guy who was like wealthy.
I bet he was doing just fine.
Yeah, I think he was probably fine, but I mean,
Okay, this says, well, I don't know. Penile vibrators and the surgical extraction of semen.
yeah. I mean, it happens all the time.
Okay,
women,
yeah, it
women
says
whose
men are-
husbands were paralyzed,
Yeah.
they
They're unable to. Can I say the medical word?
ejaculate.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're unable to ejaculate, but the sperm production is normal, so they have to physically go in and surgically remove it
Yeah.
from their body and then put
there's-
that into the wife.
I mean, there's
I've been
women
with some
who,
girls that it feels like they're surgically removing it.
honey,
I'm
maybe
just
a
talking.
lighter touch.
They're good with. They're doing things with precision.
You're gross.
There are don't blame him, blame the ladies. Yeah, there are women who file to get their dead husband's sperm.
It has to die.
Huh?
It doesn't die with you?
It's still I don't know how that works, but there have been women, like if it's frozen or whatever, they have women that have done that. This is really for Dr. Berglund.
Yeah, right. We got him coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'll
Listen,
have
give
him on
me a
again.
couple more episodes of House, and then I will also be.
On that level.
I will be
An expert?
the show's leading medical expert. I think that's fair. Right?
It's totally fair. Yes.
You guys are pretty quiet.
No, absolutely. No, you can be the show's medical expert.
Mayor MD, we don't all
Uh-huh.
agree with this.
The girl that just suggested that humanity should be sterilized.
Yeah, I didn't say all my ideas were going to be popular,
Well, also,
but
I
they're
mean,
good for science.
there are a lot of medical experts who believe mass sterilization would solve a lot of problems.
Too many people.
Now, could it create more problems
No.
than it solves?
Never. There's no downside.
Well, listen, we've engaged in passive eugenics for a long time. It's
But
the
it's
active
only-
eugenics people have trouble with.
It's only mass sterilization on men.
Ah,
Women aren't sterilized.
I see.
Just the men.
I mean, you only really need to do that. It's not like you're going to get pregnant from other women.
Watch it. 2024.
That's a brave new world, man.
Easy.
Brave new world.
You're the woke guy. You better
That's
chill
right.
out.
Be careful.
I'm just saying. I like the odds.
Bill Squire's amazing.
One of the funniest guys ever.
He's not woke at all.
That's one of the funniest things right now because all the people that comment, either they hate me because I'm so woke or they hate me because I'm so offensive.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
You're both.
you gotta pick a side.
You're
Pick a lane.
offensively woke.
Well, that is a thing.
That is very
I know a
much
lot
something.
of people who are offended.
Well, they're not saying I'm woke when they're saying I'm offensive. They're just
Listen.
saying they don't like my comedy
I've
because
thought
it's dirty.
I've met woke people. And then I went to New York.
And you went to New York, and yeah.
There was so one of the first shows I went to, like my first week there, was just a bar show in Brooklyn. And I had a friend on the show. I'm just hanging out and meeting people. I'm not performing, nothing like that. I met the two showrunners. They're like, great, we'll have you back sometime, blah, blah, blah. So like a week goes by. I'm at a different comedy club. Again, I don't really know anybody, but I saw those two showrunners where I'm like, oh, I met them last week. I'll go stand in their conversation because they're the only people in this entire building I'm familiar with. Well, I quickly realized that their idea of casual bar conversation is discussing, debating, and arguing over world genocides. And not
Hilarious
Ranking
stuff.
them?
not just Israel-Palestine. I mean, like every genocide that's ever happened in the world.
Did you jump in with mass sterilization might be a way to solve this?
I didn't, because I was shocked. I also don't know these people that well. I met them one other time. I recognize their faces, and I walk up. I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" Like, I get my little fake beer, and I'm standing
We're just
there.
talking about genocide.
And then I realized that I'm like, this is heavy.
Yeah.
Like, this is a deep, heavy conversation. And those two and then one other person were all so into it, and they all knew so much information and so much history, and they're all making different points. And I stood there, and it was about probably 15 minutes of me saying absolutely nothing before I said, I'm sorry, guys, I got to bow out. I don't know anything about what you're talking
It
about.
also doesn't mean anything either.
Well, that's the
If
other
you're
thing.
talking to a human Wikipedia page, it's like, hey, cool, you read a lot of stuff, but you're not doing. What are you getting in a time machine? You're gonna go kill baby Hitler?
Well,
Like-
they were talking about some that are going on now and past ones and setting precedents and what they can I don't really know.
Do they
what the
talk about
point-
future ones? Because that's when
That's when I can jump in.
Yeah, you can be like,
Mass
hey,
sterilization.
now we're talking Mary.
No, but it was like,
But you're not killing them, you're sterilizing them.
you're right.
Yeah.
Well, some people might think that's the same.
Well, genocide through sterilization.
Uh-huh.
So I
New album?
maybe. Yeah, I had to bow out. I straight up was like, I got to walk away. And I told him, I was like, I'm sorry, I can't contribute to this. This isn't fun for me.
No, of course
can't.
not. At a comedy show they were talking about this?
At a comedy club.
Yeah, that's the stuff that works in Brooklyn basements.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized there's people who that's their casual bar conversation.
Yeah, but it's all
That's what
just-
they can't
it's
wait
all-
to talk about.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
verbal jerking off in
Yeah.
a group of
Crazy.
people. Yeah, come
It's
on.
like Alan said, they read a bunch of stuff and they go, want to sound smart. they
someone
wanna
needs to
sound-
hear
yeah.
about. And I get it. You should
Listen,
be passionate about things.
You should, and you should be informed, but you can't do a goddamn thing about it. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, let me give you some money here. It's $1,000. Put that toward whatever you see fit. It's courtesy of the Buzzard Bookie. Good luck.
This is your chance to bet with the Buzzard Bookie and win $1,000 now. Enter this nationwide keyword at WMMS.com. Bills. That's bills. Enter it now at WMMS.com.
Was Poundcake thinking of Christopher Walken? Now, that would be great if he was thinking Christopher and then Walken for a guy who couldn't do that
Maybe.
and came up with Christopher Hawking.
I think so. Who's Christopher Walken?
Exactly. So, Alan, I looked up that dinner Mary's going to have, and holy cow. Dustin
Here we
texted
go.
me in the break, too.
About that dinner?
Yeah.
Here we go.
He texted.
Oh, I thought you were going to play. Yeah.
No, he texted.
What did he say?
He said, where's his text? What's the price of this 10-course meal, man? Does Mary love spending money? That's how I hear it. That's how I hear his text.
I just think it's funny.
disgusting, Mary. I can't believe she's going having dinner in New York
It is
with Brian.
$350 a person.
That's what this person said. $365 per guest.
$365 per guest plus
For no
taxes.
meat.
For no meat.
For no meat.
But it's still ranked in the top 5 restaurants in the country.
I'm sure it is. They
So
got
I'm
all
like,
their
it's
Michelin
gotta
stars.
be good.
I'm mostly surprised that you were able to get in, even like.
I made it like 6 weeks ago, like
But-
when he told
yeah,
me
okay,
about it.
yeah.
So I mean, it wasn't.
But still, like,
Yeah.
that's one of those places that gets booked up.
But it was also my available choices because it's a 3-hour window you have to book. So all the good ones, 6, 7, 8 o'clock were booked. So my choices were like 4:30 or 9:30.
Early bird special.
Yeah. So we went with like the later ones. So
Yeah.
we're gonna be there all night.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
what
it
if
was.
it sucks?
I told Brian, I was like, this might be the biggest risk I'm taking in
Well,
this
yeah, but then you
relationship.
never go back. Like
Yeah, and it's an experience. They tell you like,
every
this
restaurant
is,
that everybody raves about, you could get a bad night there.
Yeah.
Could suck.
it's a curated thing. They have all these insanely good reviews. I highly doubt it's going to be anything short of amazing. But it was like I'm moving to New York. Brian's helping me out. Not like I owe him anything, but I'm like, hey, let's have a nice fancy dinner at this place you mentioned wanting to,
But
know
also,
more about.
whether it is amazing or whether it sucks, you're never going back.
Right. This is a one-time deal.
That's
This
what I'm
isn't
saying.
like a regular thing we're going to do.
You're not dropping $370 a pop.
No.
Again.
Well, and that's the other thing is that I'm like, I don't know if that also includes, we don't drink alcohol.
It's not going to include drinks.
But I'm like, I'm hoping they're not going to expect us to pay $15 per mocktail on top of that.
yeah, a $15 Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's when I was saying, like, and then to Cody's point about tipping, where it's like the food is curated to that price. That's a $200 tip,
Yeah.
Yeah. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
So they better be
gonna
doing
be
$200 worth of service.
It's going to be $1,000 night.
Well, and I explained that. I said, this is, we're not going to get to see each other very much while I'm away. So this is like hey, we're in New York City. We're doing it big. This is an experience for us,
You'll bang before dinner.
100%.
That's, especially with the late table time.
This has
Yes.
reminded me that I have to use my other free Mr. Hero before tomorrow.
Before it expires.
Yeah, it expires the 31st, so I got to use it today or tomorrow.
Better go get you that Roman burger,
Yeah.
babe.
That's the best.
So good.
Well, good.
Yeah, so we
You've
are.
reminded him of something valuable.
We're splurging on that. A nice night out together in this big city. We're going to get all dressed up, and it'll be a big fancy date.
Maybe you'll be
you gotta
rubbing
think.
shoulders with the elite there.
If it is, okay, $1,000 night, I'm not going to be home very much. So that would be 5 $200 dates here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to miss more than 5 dates here.
Might as well blow it out.
So we'll do it up big. So nationally known and ranked and triple diamond, however they rate things, it's got all of it.
Well, they're Michelin stars.
Michelin, that's what it is, not diamonds.
Everybody's like, I can't believe the Michelin things actually do with the tire company. Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you think that Michelin man got so fat?
Likes food.
Mm-hmm.
Stay puffed.